Society of Amaranthine Educators of Happy Valley Business School presents Talks on Business Essentials. We talk what we know what we talk. Knowledge is cumulative, let us acquire.
Welcome back to my videos on marketing. During happy times and not so very happy times, there's one thing that most of us do. No guesses for the right answer? Well, it's shopping. And when we shop, what is it that we most often do? Either we buy certain products or we do not buy certain products. So why do we buy and not buy certain products? The answer is very simple. It's because we find value in one and we do not find value in the other. Are you able to understand what is it that I'm going to talk about today? Yes, it's on value proposition. Well, for value proposition, there are two views which I would like to consider in today's video. One is the manufacturer's view and the other one is the customer's perspective. So from the manufacturer's viewpoint, well, she's my mother, she's my manufacturer and if I were a product, like all manufacturers, she is also very adamant about how she expects the product to be, that is her daughter to be. Well, this is called as product myopia, where you love your product and you want it to be the way you want it to be. But then if I were leaving it to my mother's choice, well, I would be like this, also very traditional. Maybe she would like it, but then not the others. So this is what happens when the manufacturer loves the product from the customer's perspective. Every customer is always looking out for something in a product. And if a manufacturer or a marketer can see through the eyes of the customer, half his work is done. So there are hundreds of product strategies that you can follow to attract a customer. But let me, in my video, just concentrate on one strategy, which is the value proposition. Value proposition, by my own definition, is the value that you wish to propose to your customer. And how do you voice it? Here goes. So the first one is the unique value proposition, the UVP. It's a communication from the marketer to the customer about what he would get if he uses my product. Well, the saree that I'm wearing today is gifted by my son. He has no clue how to get a saree. He knows I love sarees. He knows that I visit Fab India very often. So he put two and two together and just thought, my mother loves sarees from Fab India. Well, I do love it. Everything in my house is almost bought from Fab India. So you can see the curtains, the divan covers, the cushion covers, and of course the sarees that I wear. What could be the reason? The reason is the value that the manufacturer or the marketer has tried to sow into my head. That in case I end up buying a Fab India product, indirectly and directly, I am helping the 50,000 odd artisans in India who are earning a living because I am buying this product. And I don't mind spending more for this product that I buy from Fab India, actually much more. So the second one is the extra value proposition. It's the number of extras that a marketer can give its customers over and beyond what the product has to offer. Like for example, again going back to the example of a saree. Well, this is a saree that I bought from a manufacturer and he gave me a lot of extras. The extras were what maybe everybody has been doing it for many people. It's stitching a saree for. Fine. The second one was stitching a blouse for me. All this is of course free. And the one that delighted me the most was lifelong dry wash. I was completely bowled over. Now these are the extras, small little extras which can really delight a customer. If you've had enough of me and my sarees and my stories around sarees, let me take you to another example of Nestle, which all of you are very familiar with. Apart from its product, what did Nestle really do?
Nestle partnered with Lotus Diapers to erect way stations for families traveling with infants. At each station, parents were greeted by a hostess offering a menu of Nestle baby food, fresh diapers, and changing tables. This helped the company gain an additional 10% of the baby food market.
Customer value proposition is the promise of all benefits that an organization delivers to its customers, of course, leading to customer engagement. And this isn't possible without the right customer feedback, and that's exactly the brand called Skechers resorted to.
Skechers, which was initially a cheaper knockout brand, shot to the second position because customer feedback led them to understand that customers preferred affordable, stylish, and lightweight shoes.
So, the fourth value proposition is the brand value proposition. Have you heard of the brand named Taniera? Well, if you split the brand name into two, Tan means body and Era stands for the Sanskrit name for goddess Saraswati. Just because the brand name is Taniera, would you buy a product from Taniera? Maybe not. But if I were to tell you that Taniera as a sub-brand is from the company called as Titan, would you still buy the product? Probably yes. And the last one is emotional value proposition or EVP. Every customer buys a product not for its features alone, but also because of the emotional connect that they feel with the product. I love handbags and I love leather handbags. I love the texture, the finish, and the color, and of course the different tans that come along with a handbag. My joy knew no bounds when years ago I found or discovered this brand called as High Design from a very small place called as Pondicherry, doing India proud. This is the emotional connect that customers are looking for. A wonderful product, value for the product that I buy, and the emotional connect that I have with the brand because it is Indian. So in conclusion, take a hard look at what you're selling. Do you have a vision to communicate what you wish to accomplish? If not, it's time to sharpen your pencil and get started with a new set of value propositions. Best wishes.